magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast. What's up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's a Transformers Slag Podcast on our live stream main event. I'm your host, Protoman. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you hear Monday to Friday. And it is Saturday. We ran a little late today. We apologize for that. Looks like our streaming software decided to do a massive update at the last second and then resetted all our settings and everything got messed up and we were scrambling and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So we ran a little late, but we're good now. Hopefully the audio is good. Hopefully the video is good. Hopefully the slides for today is good. I think that it's the worst possible weekend for this to happen because we have a lot to talk about. I don't want anyone to ever tell me that Transformers is dead or dying when you have such crazy weekends like this where possibly, it's not just like one aspect of the brand is strong and going. There is so many different layers that were just shown this weekend. So much stuff. It's like, this is happening and this is happening and this is happening and this is happening. Like, it's like all four corners of the globe were firing on all cylinders. So we're going to be covering everything today. Some new stuff that we didn't cover this week because it literally just dropped out of nowhere. Some updates to some stuff, a little bit of new information, and we'll take some questions from the fans. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. It's a lot. It's a lot. Probably in the top 3 of most slides we've ever done here on the live streams. That's for sure. So let's get into it. First, who's in the chat? I just want to make sure. TFCon Twins, what's up? I'll be seeing you two very soon. Bruticus42, how you doing? Cringe McCringle, another one I'll be seeing very soon. Ninjatron, another one I'll be seeing very soon. It's gonna be pretty hype at TFCon coming up soon. Rudy Mack, also someone. It's all the good TFCon people are here. It's pretty awesome. Fawnheart, how you doing? JR Mina, you gotta come on down also. One day, come on to this side of the globe. I can't always go to your side of the globe. Patrick Brown, what's up? What's up? James Hobskin, how you doing? Flatline Girl, one of my patrons, how you doing? T-Formers 2002, another person I'll be seeing in a couple weeks. Who am I missing here? Will Murphy, what's up? Patrick Brown, I got Decepticon for life. How you doing? Roman, what's up? Who else do we got? We got Chavez. We got Will Murphy, I already said. I want to make sure I'm not missing nobody because everyone's piling in now. But yeah. So then, where do we begin? Because we got quite a bit. Quite a bit. I feel like we should probably start with the Japanese side of things because there was just so much of that dumped on us over it's not even like the Shizuoka hobby show this weekend, but even before that from pre-orders and stuff like that. So we're going to start first. Probably what would be best is the Wild King stuff. Now, I praise Wild King a lot. Let me just reach over for some of my faves that I keep nearby just because I love these guys. I praise Wild King stuff like crazy. Only it's mostly because from a design and quality situation. These guys are some of the most high quality, like per weight Transformer figures we've ever gotten in terms of like the deco, like just the paint quality that's put on like the little elemental chips, the fact that they come with accessories, the customability of them where you could just like have so much fun with these guys and just like make the most cool, wacky kind of things. Let me get the element chip and put that there too. Like you could make the most wacky, wild stuff with these guys. But on top of that, the quality of the builds of these are amazing. And it's crazy because these are pretty much the same size. Let me grab Megatron from Cyberworld. They're pretty much the same size as a Cyberworld figure. But a Cyberworld figure, unfortunately, is a hollow, doesn't have a lot of articulation, really had a certain goal in mind of a price point. These guys, the sad reality is if these were on shelves for us here in America, they'd be like 25 bucks. And I don't know if Hasbro would be able to get away with that with the market memory that we have for Transformer product. So that being said, just want to use that as kind of a foundation here. I love Wild King. And now we have a brand new series. It's considered a sequel series. It's called Wild King W, or it's called in Japan Wild King Double. The U is silent. And it is a sequel to Transformers Wild King. It has a whole bunch of new tooling with some old ones and new decos. It's the classic case of, like back in the old Aaron Archer Unicron trilogy days, you have something where it's like, okay, we're going to take some characters, they're going to have power up versions, which are going to be redecos of them, but we'll also have a whole bunch of new stuff. What's up, Big Bot? So it's like there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on, but the big announcement on top of all these new figures and stuff was, of course, that we're also going to have a new series. Now, it's again going to be on YouTube. It's going to probably be those 5 to 7 minute episodes in that more limited CG animation. But we do see that we're going to be having a feature on this new character called Rex Blade with his Rex Scalibur. And we have Silver Fang here, who's one of his partners, I guess, that he's going to be working with. We don't know the whole story yet. But the crazy thing about this all is as much as excited as I was about this, and the fandom in the West, they could be hot or cold when it comes to Japanese media and Japanese figures. If they don't have access to it, rightfully so, sometimes they will not be excited about it. But Japan, man, they showed up in droves. Rex Blade's 2-pack sold out on Amazon.jp in less than 24 hours. I have not seen that in a Transformers product in a very long time. And it sold out super quickly. And then even some of the Energy Beasts were like reaching the bestseller list for the toy category on Amazon. So something's here. Something's here. I think people are really excited about this. The aesthetic for Rex Blade is very different than what we had before with Wild King. It has that more Zoids or Sentai kind of vibe to it. So it's something where something's going on here. And I kind of hope, it's just a gut feeling, and I know it's a little late in the game, but I kind of hope that the success of this, specifically the pre-orders and the show being watched on YouTube, could lead to Takara maybe getting the reins a little bit for the future of deciding Transformer branding, storytelling, media partnerships, because it's time. Anime is as big as it's ever been since, the COVID era, and people are just more accepting of it as opposed to, let's say, during 2001, 2006 of the Unicron trilogy. And I think there's an opportunity here. I really, really do. And it's just a matter of, and the sad reality is, if Hasbro hears my words and says, okay, let's do that right now, it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years before we see the final results of that decision. So we shall see, but it's very impressive just how well the sales have been. So anyone who is interested in getting a Rex Blade, I heavily suggest try to use any source you can to pick one up, because I think he's going to be one of those more difficult ones to get. There's 3 different versions you could pick up. You could get Rex Blade just on his own. You could get Rex Blade with Silvertail here. And then, unfortunately, the Amazon exclusive one, which also came with an extra bonus accessory, which was the Shining Rex Scalibur, that one's already gone. But the one that sold out here is actually just the vanilla 2-pack. So, I mean, something's going on, man. There's some hype. There's some serious hype. And again, he's like a triple changer. He transforms into like a dino and some 4-wheeled vehicle. And he's got a really cool, just a unique aesthetic, a very unique aesthetic that really we haven't seen in Transformers, but we've seen kind of in a lot of other Takara and Bandai based kind of properties. So, man, it's looking great. I'm very excited about this, primarily because of the message that this sends to the higher ups that work on the Transformers brand, both on the Japanese side and hopefully also on the Western side of things in Hasbro. But we will see with that one for sure. Now let's go from the highs of man, really cool product too. Let's go into some partnership licensing. We got a teaser from the Las Vegas Licensing Expo, which is going to be happening very soon, May 19th to the 21st. Hasbro is going to have a booth there, primarily for the Transformers the Movie Apology Tour, and they're going to be showing off a lot of the different licensors that are part of this Apology Tour, like Super 7. They're going to be doing stuff, of course, with this company here of Culture Fly and many others. And they're just showing off here. Here's a little teaser of what's going to be on display at the Las Vegas Licensing Expo. The Culture Fly Versus series, Transformers the movie. Again, little PVC figures, limited articulation. Hey, there's Optimus, there's Megatron, there's Prowl and Starscream, even though it was technically Scavenger that shot him in the shuttle, but you got to put one of the legendary 7 in there, and then you got an RC and a Shockwave because those two never met. It's funny actually. Alita actually has more of a connection with Shockwave, but she wasn't in the '86 movie. But so there's these products, and supposedly there's going to be more that are going to be on display. So later next week, we're going to have a whole bunch of licensed items. And yeah, some of this stuff might not speak to you, but there might be some stuff that does. Or if you're a collector of Shockwave like I am, it's kind of cool. Cool little Shockwave figure for your desk. We shall see what's up. But again, keep in mind the Las Vegas Licensing Expo, May 19th to the 21st. So if you're in the Las Vegas area, go check it out. If not, hey, just, we'll have some reveals. We'll get some reveals on that one. Then let's get into the Shizuoka Hobby Expo, Hobby Show. So this is easily one of the biggest toy shows of the year for Japan. You have Wonder Festival that really is a lot about independent creators and model kits and stuff like that. And you do get, toy product revealed there. But the Shizuoka Hobby Show is one that really, it's the closest we probably have to like a Tokyo Toy Fair light. And there's a lot that they showed. Like we got a lot we're going to be covering. First one we got here, of course, let's start with, the link doesn't work on that one. Oh, I hope that one works. Okay. Well, we were going to show the Overgear Optimus. That's where that one doesn't work. So there was Overgear Optimus, OG03 Optimus Prime with the gold tan coloring and everything. They showed that in display in person. It comes with, it looks like an Energon Axe, looks like a modernized version of his Ion Blaster, and some kind of shoulder cannon that maybe is a spiritual successor to the roller turret cannon thing. But that one is one half of it. Supposedly there's going to be a Decepticon half. Everyone's saying it's going to be Megatron. We don't know what the alt mode is. People are thinking it's going to probably be a tank or a jet. But we'll see. We're probably going to see pre-orders for this and release dates. We don't have any information on it yet. But they did have it on display at Shizuoka. My image doesn't work. I don't know why. Again, we had a lot of flubs today getting ready for the live stream. But here's the one that does work. The next one we have is MPG Masterpiece 26. Beast Wars Destron Rhinox. Again, reminder, Destron is what both the Predacons and Decepticons were called in the Japanese lore of Transformers. So Destron could go either way. In this case, in a true translation of a localization, this would be called a Predacon Rhinox. And yeah, man, it's Predacon Rhinox. It's from Dark Design Season 1 episode. But at the same time, it also kind of doubles as a toy Rhinox. Because you know what's funny? When you think about Dark Design Rhinox, when he was in his alt mode, he had like red eyes on his Rhino mode. And when you look at the Rhinox toy, the original Rhinox 1996 toy, he had red eyes too, just kind of by coincidence, if anything. But mind you, so did a lot of other figures. So it's something where this doubles as it does double duty. Do you want a super toy accurate Rhinox that comes with, his tail sword, which again, even the original Masterpiece didn't come with, and he comes with 2 chain gums of doom. It's funny that it doesn't come with those little, I don't know, chain ball and chain things that were on the center of it, but maybe some accessories are not shown here, and it's able to do that too. But looking great. I love the head sculpt. I love that it has the mutant head. I think this looks cool. This might be a pricey item because the original Masterpiece Rhinox, and that was in 2023, was about $210 to $220. So it's probably going to be in that range if I was a betting man. But I still have this gut feeling I'm going to want to get it. it's This looks really cool. I'm a Beast Wars simp. I love Beast Wars, and again, Dark Design was badass episodes. So love it. Really good stuff. Then we got some more. We got some new legends. Transformers New Legends NL06 Beast Wars Second Gigastorm. So they're making good use. It's kind of funny, like they're making a lot of good use of that Triptychon mold. Cause it's like we had Triptychon when he initially came out, and then he hit clearance like crazy. And then which where he was like at Ollie's for as cheap as like $15-$20. And then he got reissued on Hasbro Pulse. And then he got a brand new redeco, and that was released last year, and that was like an updated version of Triptychon, but still using the same tooling. And now we have this one here on top of the Japanese one. There's a Japanese release too. I forgot to mention that one. There was also the Takara Legends one. And now there's the New Legends one here using the Triptychon tooling, but turning it into Gigastorm. And if you know that history, again, in Beast Wars Second, 1998 Transformers anime exclusive Japanese series, they took the original Triptychon toy from 1986 G1, gave it new tooling, the horn, all the new decos. It was an upgraded body to Megatron, to Galvatron's brother Megastorm into Gigastorm. And to kind of keep true to that tradition here, because this is a figure that originally was born out of Titan Returns, you have the what was known as full tilt for Triptychon, his little tank dude, his little purple tank dude, his Titan Master head or Headmaster head. If you look carefully at the smaller head for the head within the head, giggity, it's a nod and an homage to Megastorm. So that's a nice little touch there too. I love what's going on here. My only fear is the price, because if this is a Japanese exclusive, Japan tends to overpay a little bit for their Transformers in certain areas. And this is one of the classic cases that this is going to be definitely in that 200 to 230 to 250 $60 range, and it's going to be a big heavy item to ship out. So we will see, but very, very cool. And again, if somehow you didn't get Triptychon the first time, somehow you didn't get the redeco the second time or the reissue, you can't go wrong with Gigastorm. Gigastorm is pretty cool, and this one has all kinds of little history and lore with it also. And if you ever get a chance, watch Beast Wars Second. Very good series, or Beast Wars 2, depends how you want to pronounce it. It's not the end of Beast Wars Second stuff we'll talk about today, but we'll get into that in a moment. But first, let's talk some more Masterpiece. We're going to talk the MPG 24 broadcast, and Steeljaw, aka Blaster, as we know him here in the West. We've already seen a little bit his robot mode. They kind of teased it during a T-Spark live stream, but it really was like a render at best. So this is the first time that the prototype has been seen in person, in the flesh, at a convention. And we also finally get to see what the accessories are going to look like. So we finally get to see, yeah, he comes with his traditional, I call it the earbud blaster. Man, I wish I had the extra accessories nearby. So Blaster's gun kind of has like these two holes on the side to hold some earbuds that the original toy going back to the 80s was able to do with Microman. So he comes with his earbud blaster. He comes with two, I guess we'll call them trumpets or horns or speakers that went over his fists that he used in the episode Autobop from season 2. Comes with blast effects that are kind of sound waves for those speakers. So that's a nice little extra bonus too. I think it looks great. I think it looks awesome. Comes with Steeljaw. Steeljaw is looking on point. Definitely a lot better than the Studio Series one that we got. You know, I like it a lot. Was it called the Electro Scramblers? Was that the name for it? Either way, I'm pretty sure they'll mention it in the instructions too. They always do. because anyone who knows Masterpiece, the instructions also act as a little history lesson for the characters. So they're not just, here's how you transform it without breaking it. So I dig it. I think it looks great. And again, Steeljaw looks fantastic and leads to a lot of confidence that we'll see in the future of tape cassette 2-packs. And speaking of tape cassette 2-packs, because we're already kind of in that hemisphere, because here we go with MPG 25. We got here, of course, Ramhorn and Eject. And same thing, looking on point, looking really, really good. The only question now that with these guys, now that we have these here, um, it's like, okay, Blaster comes with Steeljaw. You got a 2-pack here with Ramhorn and Eject. Is Rewind going to be packed with the twin cast redeco? And we do know that there is going to be a twin cast redeco of Blaster. They confirmed it during the T-Spark event. We just didn't know like what he was going to come with, if anything. So very, very cool. I dig it. I think that's awesome. Again, I love Blaster. I have a little bit of a bias for Blaster because he was the first Transformer I ever owned. So I always kind of liked him in his tape cassettes. So to finally get a proper masterpiece of him took long enough. I mean, man, when did we get Soundwave? When did we get that first Soundwave? That was like the old Kojin Ono era of like masterpieces. Like, man, what was he? 09? What was this? MP09? It was a long time ago. Like, it was a very long time ago. But now it took this long, but we finally got Blaster after third-party people doing it and everyone else. He's finally here. I hope there's more stuff that comes with him. I really do. I hope he comes with a slew of extra accessories and everything. So that's pretty hype. Pretty hype. And then let's talk about the big boy himself that's getting a lot of the attention. Let's talk about Transformers New Legends 07, Beast Wars 2, Beast Wars 2nd, Galvatron. This is pretty crazy. This is pretty crazy how detailed this comes out to. I've seen a lot of discussion online of people saying this item probably won't even come out in the West, which I can't believe that to be so. I mean, we already got Lio Convoy here. We got Big Convoy here. Like, we already have Magmatron. Like, they've already made the effort to bring over these Japanese exclusive characters that, literally have no connection with the Western audience. Like, it's crazy. Like, you have to make HasLabs out of victory characters like Star Saber and Lio Kaiser, but those had DVD releases. Like Shout Factory put out those episodes in the West. And on top of that, those characters were featured in the comics in some shape or form in a long nature of Morta Meets the Eye and during the James Roberts run. But Galvatron 2, if you want to call him, he had like 3 panels in like one Western comic. And like, that's it. No localized DVDs, no ease of access otherwise outside of the high seas, of course, giggity. But yet here he is. Here he is. And it's the same thing with Big Convoy. It's the same thing with Lio Convoy. They all come from that same Beast Wars 2nd and Beast Wars Neo bubble of stuff that we have no legal way of watching these shows subtitled or in a native language. So, and look, there is ways to watch it. Let's be real. That's how I watched it many years ago, even on bootleg VHSs from anyone remember Centersore? That was the first company to translate and subtitle Beast Wars 2nd and Beast Wars Neo episodes. But yeah, this looks amazing. This looks really crazy. And I'm very curious to see like how they tackle everything. Very curious how they tackle it all, because like you have the drill mode, you have the dragon mode. I'm curious if they're going to do like the crystal in the center there. Like, is that going to be translucent? How big is this guy? Like, we have some images of him like, behind some of our Titan classes here. And he kind of is giving like this, is he like a large commander class scale? And if he's a large commander class, how much is this guy going to cost? And let alone how much is this guy to cost if he's actually released? Why would they not release it in the West? Would Japan do all this crazy unique tooling for an item that they would never release here? So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Yeah, Ninja Tron, the quality of mine too was, thank God for tracking on old VHSs, let's put it that way. Mine was terrible. I got it from my friend Joseph. Shout out to him in Montreal. He had like a copy of a copy, and then he lent it to me. And then I made a copy of his copy from my friend Ben, who had two VCRs. If you know what's up, from the old man era. But man, I probably have that VHS still around here somewhere. It's got to be on because I know I labeled it. It's got to be somewhere. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Very excited about this. Again, we already have a Galvatron 2, celebration with what they're doing with blockies. And now we got this one here too. So he's probably going to have like his two little sword weapons. He's probably going to have his capture claw gimmick, maybe. They'll keep that too. He's going to have his spinning drill. He's going to have his dragon mode. Maybe they'll include some blast effects so the dragon could spit fire. Who knows? But he's looking stellar. He is looking great. I love the big grin that he has. He always had this like permanent grin on his face in the show. So very excited about that. And hey, you got him. You got his brother Gigastorm. Like there's some synergy there in terms of family craziness. Looks great. Looks absolutely great. No price, no release date, no information, no nothing, no alt mode shown, just this big old teaser. And a lot of people making a lot of suggestions that we have no idea what's going on here. So we'll see. We will see. Then we had just a small little card teaser, the next of the Transformers Evangelion collaboration. And again, if you know Ava, it's red. The silhouette here. It has 4 eyes on the robot. This is clearly Oscar Langley's, Unit 2. The one that I have here in the image obviously comes from the recent Ava movies, but it's going to be Ava 2, either the movie version or probably the original with no horn. But the better question I have is looking at this silhouette. Yeah, you have the 4 eyes, so it's clearly the Unit 2. But is this just yet again another like movie flavored Optimus redeco? And then it's just going to be Unit 2? That would kind of suck. I would kind of hope that they would, because if you look at the silhouette, that looks like a movie Optimus silhouette, much like the Unit 1 was. Where it'd be kind of cool if they took some other Transformer characters and kind of like superimposed them. Like, again, I don't want to sound like biased, but like Hot Rod would work very well with this. Asuka's a very hot-headed, kind of character, and the reds and the yellows would just work well with the oranges. Maybe it's just me, but that's one way to look at it. Or I don't know, sideswipe if you want to like dig a little deeper, but it's just something where I hope they kind of use another character to like cross over with it. And it's not just, oh, now it's a red Optimus that's Unit 2. And then we'll get Rays and it'll be a blue Optimus, for prototype unit for the 00 unit for people who watched Ava. But interesting, again, they teased this, no date, no nothing, but I hope there's something a little more unique this time around because I like the first one. First one looks good. I want to see how this one turns out too. Then let's talk about this bad boy. We actually did an individual segment on this guy because there was so much to deconstruct because Takara and T-Spark put out a promotional video really diving deep in everything. And we got, of course, here Transformers Missing Link ML14 Ironhide. Good old Ironhide. I love how much was put into this. Like, I kind of have this weird melancholy feel about this because I love how this looks, but this is also something that's so different than what we got from the Missing Link line up to this point. I mean, yeah, the alt mode's on point. That is the 1984, Nissan Vanette. That's perfect. If you showed me that on its own, I would think you were showing me the 1984 toy. But when you look at the alt mode, the robot mode, so much has been changed from that transformation that it's so much different from the original toy. And they tried to kind of maintain what the original toy did with this on the right here that they literally call respect mode, I guess, to respect the past. And, you could still, it still has the sticker face. It still has the Diaclone driver seat. You could kind of lower the arms to have it be more of that power suit kind of idea. And it comes with a Diaclone female driver that, if you saw my individual segment, I truly believe this is supposed to represent Carly in her scuba swimsuit during the episode The Interceptor, just because the season 2 episode, because to me it's totally her. And those two had so much like character time together. So I think that that's what they were going with here. At least that's what I think. It's kind of like the same way how there's a female Diaclone driver with Ultra Magnus, and I think, oh, maybe that's trying to be Marissa Fairborn as opposed to Carly, you know. But we will see. Very cool, this one. Quite different than what we've gotten before with Missing Link, with the exception, of course, of RC, who was really something from the ground up based on an old prototype. But very, very cool. And of course, at the Shizuoka toy show, hobby show, they of course also revealed, and the link doesn't, they also revealed Ratchet. Link doesn't work. I am going to destroy this live streaming. Everything got reset and I lost all my links and everything. This one doesn't work either. That's a shame. So yeah, so they also showed Ratchet. Go check out my individual segments. I show the Ratchet in full HD. And it looks like with the Ratchet, because I looked at it better now, he's going to come with the same gun that Ironhide comes with, which is based off of his gun from Prime Problem. But he looks like Ratchet's going to come with a repair tool this time, like something that's different from the drill that Ironhide comes with. So there's something going on with Ratchet, who obviously has a brand new head sculpt. So stay tuned for that. Next up, we got another new Legends. We got NL03, Star Nemesis Prime, Nemesis Convoy, Star Convoy. Many ways you could call it, but this is Nemesis Star Convoy in this case. If you want to go into the deep lore of this one, the deep, deep lore, yeah, the missing link of missing link. Ain't that the irony? We talk about the lore with this. We translated it on the Transformer Slag podcast Discord. If you have access to the Discord through the Patreon, we already translated the manga and posted it in our lore section, so you could go check that out and read the story. But the long short of it is we learn the origin of the 4 different Cybertronian planet descendants, that apparently one version of the G1 characters ended up in the Unicron Trilogy universe thousands of years ago, before even the Micron Armada story. They set off and did the 4 different planets, and Optimus founded Planet Speedia. And when he founded Planet Speedia, he went into a deep slumber, and that was that on the planet. Many years later, Shock Blast, aka Laser Wave, from Energon, aka Superlink, gets a piece of Unicron's essence, which is kind of clever because they use the satellite dish that comes with Shockwave to represent Unicron's essence as like this, green circle of amalgamous energy. And yeah, he uses it to find the slumbering convoy in the center of Speedia, and to use Unicron's essence to revive him as a new reborn Unicron using the Zodiac, the Dark Matrix from his Nemesis Prime, and the Nemesis Star Convoy here. It's a little convoluted. It's how Sakamoto does things. Sakamoto is very deep in his lore, and hey, it's a black evil repaint, so it's gonna look pretty crazy. It's gonna look pretty crazy, but it is what it is. And this guy, the prices are kind of all over the place. I've seen about $205 for this guy. If you buy it like pound for pound with yen. If you buy it through different sources that are obviously trying to make a profit, I've seen this guy for 230, 250. So you're pretty much paying $100 more than the original, which was about 150. But I mean, I still think this thing looks super cool. It has Shockwave, but it has Shockwave specifically Shock Blast from the Energon universe. So it's nice to see that character. It's just nice to see any kind of representation of of core class for more Energon characters in a lot of ways. But hey, man, even if it's a redeco, I still think it's cool. I love it. It's great. Comes the a pink color wave of the Zodiac, which is supposed to represent being infected by, again, the Unicronian energy. A lot of wacky stuff there. Check it out, yo. Very, very cool. And we also have some listings to talk about. Still got a lot of stuff to talk about. So we have listings too. We have two here. One of them is a much needed re-release. I love me some weaponizer packs and that Centurion drone. Man, I probably should have grabbed mine, but that set, when that set came out, let me tell you, that set sold out so fast. It was just bad timing. What happened is the Siege Deluxe Class Centurion drone weaponizer pack debuted on Hasbro Pulse. It was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive on their website that was part of their Generation Selects line. And for whatever reason, that same day that it debuted, there was like a sale on Hasbro Pulse. So this guy was originally $29.99 because he was a deluxe redeco with a whole bunch of extras, and he ended up like being on sale for like $19.99. So he was $20. And as a result of that, even people who didn't want this, bought this, and it sold out instantly. And then now, if you want to buy this guy on eBay, you're talking $100, $120, $130. It's kind of crazy, but he comes with a bunch of stuff. Look, the figure is nothing, to go. It's a gray version of Brunt, you know. So it's not like, oh my God, this is the most unique, amazing tooling ever from a Siege mold, but it's all the extras, the Energon cube, all the Energon weapons. You even get a little slug figure of Optimus Prime, so it even has a little bit of a DLC, if you will, if you own HasLab Unicron, because now you get a little Optimus figure to go with your Galvatron and your Optimus Prime. You could act as if it's your Ultra Magnus, actually, because it's a white one, and then you could use the red one that came with the Arc. But still, amazing set with a ton of stuff and a ton of weapons. And now they're going to be finally doing a reissue. Finally doing a reissue. Much overdue, because it was crazy what people were paying for this. I remember, I think it was TFCon Chicago 2 years ago or a year ago. I remember some guy had 3 of them at his booth, and he was asking $100 each. And I was like, oof, $100, okay. And then when I came back, they were all gone. And so I was like, oh boy. Yeah. But again, it has a lot going for it. There's just so much little extras and stuff that it's just a great little pack. And hopefully, again, if this reissue is valid, I mean, probably they're going to ask maybe $30 this time around, 35, 40. It's been a while since Siege. So, and I mean, the only reason why I think this thing is even happening is because Centurion drone as a trademark is expired and they had to refresh it. And sometimes when it comes to refreshing a trademark, the easiest thing to do is just to reissue a figure. You can make a new figure from scratch, but sometimes it's just easy to reissue a figure. So in this case, it was already like a Pulse exclusive thing. Might as well do that all over again. What's up, Victory? But yeah. And then we got this one here. I don't know. Again, so we had the Weaponizer pack, and now we have a Voyager class Sentinel Prime artifact pack. So what's going on with this one? And again, when you look at the pricing, Voyager class, but it says here MSRP $67.99. What is he coming with that a Voyager class is $67.99? So it says here, it says 25 steps to transform from robot mode to tank. So which version of Sentinel Prime is that it's a tank? Because that animation one is some kind of funky looking truck car thingy. And then like War for Cybertron is some kind of car thingy. And I don't know, we're going to go into Zeta Prime, video game, which is also a car thingy. Like there's only so many different versions, and obviously we're not going to go into Transformers 1 because we know what he turns into in his jet mode. So very bizarre. 25 steps to transform. That sounds right for a Voyager. So I think that a lot of that $67.99, which I hope that's not the price, but I think a lot of that $67.99 is going to be all the extra accessories. But it says here includes, conduit accessory, 4 accessories total. What is this thing? And what's up, Aaron? How are you doing? But what is this thing? So I do not know. Very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. But we'll probably learn more about it very, very soon here on the Transformers Slag podcast. Next up, so we talked about Wild King and all the new stuff happening in the East and all their new stuff. And now we're going to talk about what's going to be happening with us in the West. And we have Transformers Cyber World Energon Surge. Here's a picture of the first wave of the Cyber Changers. Some of them are straight up redecos of previously existing tooling. Some of them are previously existing tooling with new weapons. But we got the Optimus, we got the Bumblebee, we got the Optimus Primal, and we got the Megatron here, all rocking the translucent plastics to be compatible with the big price point, the Cyber Surge Bumblebee, where you put the figure inside and the the LED lights glow through the figure. And we see that most of all with our newest member here, new tooling, although some people have been saying otherwise. We'll mention that in a moment. We got here our very first look at Cyberworld Jazz. Now, people have been telling me that this is actually a partial of the Cyberworld Cheetor that we saw online that also has not been released yet. And I could see that, especially like, if you ignore the head sculpt, like there's a lot of similarities there. This does actually also introduce a new terrain in the cyber world. This is the ice terrain. You can see it next to Jazz's name over there. But he turns into some kind of ice wolf creature. It's got Jazz's head sculpt on there. So Jazz is a white wolf. Right on the nose. And you could see the cyber surge Bumblebee there, and you could put Jazz in his chest. And of course, the LED lights will cyber surge through him and the story and everything like that. The new season of episodes will be coming out soon to the YouTube channel of Transformers Cyberworld. So stay tuned for that. And hopefully, we'll see these new characters and explanations of what's going on there. Very, very cool. And the last thing we're going to be covering is if you ordered HasLab Hasbro Pulse's Lio Kaiser, you should be receiving notifications of your FedEx very soon and an update of what's happening with that. If you have not, just wait about a couple of days because right now Hasbro's been working through shipping out all of them. Apparently a lot of these sold, so that it's been a little slow to get everyone's orders in and their shipping and everything. There is reports of some people having it coming on its way as close as even 2 to 3 days away from reaching their doorstep. So what I would suggest, if you did order this, go to Hasbro Pulse, go to your orders and make sure to see your processing, like what stage you are in that. If you got your order date, if you got your FedEx, tracking or whatever, all of that kind of stuff. So just a little heads up for that for you, all of you who really just bought it just to get yourself some Death Cobra action. But yeah, love it. Great stuff as always. And that's it for the news. We had a lot. We had a lot of stuff. But let's get into sponsorship. We'll talk about the one funny thing I got this weekend. And then we'll just take super chats from the fans and everything. Why is the camera even off? Everything's off today.
Must be stopped, no matter the cost.
But it says here, T-Formers 2002, we already have the in-hand images for the set. Are we talking about the Lio Kaiser? Well, I mean, there's been so many images online already. So many people have been messing with it from Evan and everything. And I mean, when Evan had it in person at San Diego Comic-Con, where you could kind of like mess with it a little bit there at the VIP breakfast. So, and it's all about that Death Cobra. I'm just excited about that more than anything. Why lag why? What's up? So yeah. So let's get into sponsorships. We'll cover that, and then we'll take some super chats and just chill for the. And speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, let's talk about Symbiote Studios. Oh, your Lio Kaiser arrives Wednesday. There you go. Because people were already saying that it's going to be like, for some people, it's 2 to 3 days and they'll have it. So that's pretty hype. I'm going to be the last one to get it because mine's a sample. So I'm always the last one to get it. But yeah, Symbiote Studios, plush, pin, t-shirts, Transformer stuff, everything like that. All of it great. The Magic the Gathering stuff. So Symbiote Studios is working on some really good reveals that are going to be happening at San Diego. We have 2 items that will be one will be a San Diego debut item, which will then be on the website for all to get. The other one will be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Last year, the San Diego debut was the Laserbeak, which I might pull that one up too. Was the Laserbeak, the shoulder sitter Laserbeak, and that sold out like instantly, as it should. And then the other one was the G2 Snarl, which we do not have a picture of here because that was a San Diego exclusive. That also sold out. I think that sold out on the Saturday. And so we're going to have a repeat of that. We're going to have some debut item that will be on the website afterwards, and then some kind of exclusive. Stay tuned for that. We'll have an announcement exclusively here on the Transformer Slag podcast of what that is, as well as new t-shirts, other new items. And again, Symbiote Studios is going to be the hub at San Diego Comic-Con for cool Transformer product and the Transformer Slag podcast. So stay tuned for that and all the good stuff they're going to have. You can pick up right now the Starscream, the Swoop, the Laserbeak is there. So many good stuff. And of course, if you're a pony person, it's all there for you too. All that good stuff. So check that out. Yo, very, very cool. Very, very cool. And then let's talk the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We will have a new segment soon. Aaron has been super busy. He's been super busy with some secret projects, which I'll leave to Aaron to talk about when the time is right. And he wants to be public about it, but he's been very busy. So we have no segment right now, but we are working on something to put together for you guys. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I always tell people we have a lot of good stuff on the channel. Go subscribe to the channel. Go check out all the past segments that we've done. They're nice, good, long, meaty segments, giggity, as well as a lot of good live streams that Aaron did that are not like, time sensitive. Like you could go back and watch an older live stream that Aaron did, and it's not something that's really like, oh, well, he talks about old news. No, it's more talking about the business, talking about ideas, trips to Japan, art books, his muses, if you will. He opened up some cool stuff recently with He-Man. So go check that out, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. If you enjoy listening to my voice here or Aaron's voice, go check that one out and get some extra content that you can listen to on those long rides to work. And of course, if you want some extra Aaron, we have some brand new Posca paintings. Aaron added some new ones to the store. You got the little Rekgar over there on the top right that has been added to the store, as well as a few others that have sold and a few others that have been added. So go check out archermonster.com/shop. Pick yourself up some beautiful Posca paintings, one of one, created by the guy who designed most of these characters. Very good stuff here. Very, very good stuff here. Look at Shia. He's more happy than anybody. But yeah, check that out, yo. And of course, got to promote myself. Again, does this one not work either? Oh, it works. Yay, that one works at least. Mega Man X issue number 3 has hit comic book stores as of last week. So go check it out. This is the Marcelo Materi cover with good old RT fighting Mega Man on there. And then we got the good old Hanzo cover here with Sigma on the cover here. You have a choice of a whole bunch of different covers if you buy it off of udon.com, their website. But if you go into your local comic book store, they'll probably also have a cover on shelves of Mega Man X number 3. Check it out, yo. This is a very cool story that I wrote. Zero goes off on his own while X tries to find a piece of his past and a new armor upgrade. Very, very cool stuff. Check that out. Written by me, art by Hanzo, and a whole bunch of great covers. We got a cover by Hanzo, a cover by Edwin Huang. We got a cover by Marcelo of Transformers history. We got Chamba. We got Atomic Marshmallow with the Women of X cover. A lot of great stuff and more. We even have a Frank Frazetta homage cover that we did. That's a store exclusive. So if you're at Top Shelf Comics, which are a franchise in the United States, if you have one near you, you could pick up a Frank Frazetta exclusive homage cover of Mega Man. I had nothing to do with it. It was just something that they tacked on to my book. But it looks cool. It's based off of Frank Frazetta's famous painting Chained. So check that out. And yeah, that is it, more or less. Just that. So we'll take some super chats from you guys. But first, I want to show you guys. So I did a little bit of comic hunting today. Went to one of my local comic shops, and the guy who runs the shop, he recently got in a collection. And what he usually does is he goes through the collection. He obviously takes out the really expensive and valuable stuff and the key issues. And then everything else that he deems as junk, he kind of just puts in like a dollar bin. And like he'll announce it on his website, like, oh, hey, if you come by the store this Saturday, I have like 12 dollar bins of new junk you guys could go through. And, I'm a guy that doesn't mind going through it, vibing with some covers and stuff like that. But there was one that was really in terms of a historical nature, and it made me laugh because I know the story with this one too, and I kind of want to make a scan of it. I don't know if Alex is going to appreciate it, but so the very first free comic book day books were in 2003, and Dreamwave, for all its history and drama, was one of the first earlier adopters of free comic book day. The Armada free comic book day book was one of those books, but they also had a free comic book day Duel Masters, which was a short-lived TCG kind of thing that they were doing back in the day. And so Dreamwave also did a comic of that. The reason why I picked this up was because I remember that in the back of this, there is you want to talk about a first appearance. So you have a lot of key issues with this one right here. If you pick up Duel Masters, free comic book day #1, you get the first physical appearance of Alex Milne. This was from the desk of Alex Milne. It was an interview when he was hired at the company to be one of the new artists on the new Energon book. We all know how that worked out in the end, Dreamwave. You also have in this shot too, you have Pat Lee, you have Simon Furman there, you know. But it's funny, it's Alex's first appearance in a comic book in the physical. And he does a funny interview that doesn't sound anything like Alex. But so little fun fact with that one. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I got to pick that up. That's a funny one. So and it's amazing because like every other page is like a Transformer ad. It's like, oh, Duel Masters, Transformer ad for the Insecticons, Duel Masters, Transformer ad for volume 2 of the ongoing series. And it's like, oh, Duel Masters, Duel Masters, Transformer pinup. Oh, here we go, Energon. Look at that 2-page, spread there. It's like, gee, I wonder what was the bread and butter for what do you call it, Dreamwave at the time, and then more ads for Transformer stuff. How the manga versions, and then you keep turning your pages. You keep turning your pages. Oh, more Duel Masters, more Duel Masters. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Oh, Duel Masters, and then again, poster book for. So you think they were trying to promote Transformers using Duel Masters? But very, very cool. That was a funny pickup. I picked up a few other books, a couple of Silver Sable books and one Spidey book, but nothing too major. But that was like the funny one that I got that I figured you guys would appreciate. And again, if you want a little bit of key history, like, oh, you want to own Alex's first appearance? It's right there. Right there. I wonder, Aaron, did you have anything to do with Duel Masters, or you knew anyone that was involved with it? Because I know that some people in your hemisphere, I think, had something to do with that one. Uh, it definitely wasn't Duel Masters or Transformers. No, it was not. But yeah, so that's all I picked up really. Nothing else too major. Again, quiet week. The only other thing was when I went to that store, I picked up a few trading card stuff, but nothing too major. I have like a big Mega Man trading card book. I actually have it here. I don't know if I could show you guys properly. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's just Mega Man cards throughout the ages, Japanese stuff, Pogs, shiny. Cardass, if anyone knows what Cardass is, it's like a Japanese vending machine for trading cards. Barcode Warrior cards from Japan. All kinds of stuff. Again, just picked up a few cards because they had a few things here and there, so I wanted to pick those up. Nothing too major. Haven't heard any major QC issues so far with HasLab. Lyo Kaiser, hope it stays that way. Well, I mean, look, can't be any worse than the original Lyo Kaiser. If you own an original Lyo Kaiser, there's two figures that are like going to give you nightmares, but more specifically, Kill Bison. Kill Bison is, well, guys, you guys can't see it. So behind the Slag podcast logo there, I have my barely holding together uh, original Lyo Kaiser, and I don't even want to bring it to show it because if I showed it to you and then I got to put it down somewhere, if that thing falls down, Kill Bison's gonna break because he is Mr. GPS Nightmare. But mine's in terrible condition. I don't have all the Breastmasters, so this is only whatever it is going to be better than what we got before. And also like the original Lyo Kaiser wasn't that big. He was probably standard combiner at the time of the Scramble City, maybe slightly larger, but this is definitely a step up. You get all the accessories. You get, again, Death Cobra. That's a big deal. I think it could have been a retail item. I think they could have gotten away with it. I think they really could. They could have done. I mean, I haven't. Again, when I get the sample in person, I'll be able to kind of weigh it down. But I mean, they could have done like deluxe 2-packs and build those guys up. Get some really cool stuff going on. T-Formers 2000, you could always get him in the alternate Rescue Force claw tank. Yeah, well, I have that one too. You could barely see one of the members. The others are behind this bar here. There's what would have been Lyozak, but in red, Rescue 1, as he's called, the Jet. I have all of those guys too, but I don't have them combined because they have like a weird combine mode. It would be cool if they did like the alternate colors, but again, we don't. What is like it's. I don't even know what the rules are anymore with HasLab. It's like, oh, we can't do reissues, but maybe we could do redecos because after what we did with the Hiss tank, you know. So it's something where it's like, well, maybe they'll take 4 of those members and do the Rescue Force. Who knows? Got a red Lyozak. YLAG Y, that would be a cool idea to do Limpbot multipack. Well, I mean, that's the thing is like I still firmly believe like HasLab items should just really be stuff that are impossible for retail, like from a logistic standpoint. There's nothing logistically that's impossible about Lyo Kaiser. And I'm not saying as a box set, I'm saying as like, combiners have always been sold separately before. How can that not be any different today? MediaMax, yo, Proto, do you think Missing Link is overpriced? Do you know if plastic quality is good? Well, I will say this, if there would have been one figure that would have made me the most worried. So I have Missing Link stuff. And the one that I was the most worried about, I probably should have brought it down, was when they had Bumblebee and Cliffjumper. Because I was like, man, those limbs look so thin. Like those are going to be fragile. They're going to be loose. Like those were the ones that so far out of that whole line that I was the most worried about. And they are my most favorite of them. Like I think like if you could get one Missing Link item to have yourself floored at just how good they are, with the exception of RC. I think RC is also a must get. It has to be Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper is incredible. Any version, the anime version or the toy version. They're both incredible. And I think they're great. Now, in terms of overpriced, I do agree with you that they have been going up in price in that Convoy and Deluxe Convoy, like the anime version and just the one with the trailer, were fairly priced. They were in that 125, 135 pricing, which in all honesty, that's what people were paying for like original reissue Optimus Primes for the longest time. Like, if Takara did a reissue of Optimus Prime, it was in that $100 to $125 mark, let alone with the extra parts and pieces that we now get with the missing link. Uh, the Bumblebee and the Cliff Jumper are amazing. The Sunstreaker and the Cordon are amazing. And in my opinion, the prices were good on that one. The RC, I let that one slide. And that one, RC right now, is going for a good price. Like you could pick her up pretty affordably. And even her, like she was brand new tooling from the ground up. Like she had to be made from the ground up in a lot of ways. And she was pretty good too. The Ultra Magnus now, the Ultra Magnus is almost like like a product of that inflation world now, where it's like, oh, here's the inflation world, here's tariffs and all of that. Like Ultra Magnus is crazy overpriced. I don't think that one. If the Optimus is in that 120, 125 range, I don't know how Ultra Magnus could be like $200. Like it doesn't make sense. If you told me Ultra Magnus was like 160, 170, like how much more is Ultra Magnus? And it's way too much. That one. Like him and the Delta Magnus. I mean, hey, do you get like the power buggy or deer stalker for Ultra Magnus? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You get the little Diaclone driver. That's cool. But it's really overpriced, that one. And so it's something where in the case of Ironhide, if you buy them directly through Japan, is about $90. I think it's like $92, $93, which is a little above normal because Sunstreaker wasn't that. And Sunstreaker is also supposed to be a comparable Autobot car who also came with a Diaclone driver, specifically the Cordon version. So I'm not a fan of the pricing, but I'm also one of those individuals that if it's something I kind of like, but I'm also willing to wait, I'm willing to wait. And if I wait 9 times out of 10 with Japan, a country that doesn't have the space to sit on product forever, things go on sale. I will check Yahoo Japan. I will check Amazon.jp. I will check a few other local Mandarake-ish kind of websites of Japanese culture that ship to Americans, and I will look to see what gets sold. I don't mind owning missing link items that have been opened up once by fans, and then they go, and then they return it, and it's opened but brand new product that now all of a sudden has 20% off or 30% off. So it's something where, to me, yeah, well, that's why I see Sunstreaker. I think T-formers. I think if you bought them directly from Japan, because I'm always obsessed with like if he's on Amazon, what would be the direct exchange? Like if you bought it from Japan, because I don't trust the prices that like some of the big box online retailers have. They sometimes conflate value. But I think Sunstreaker was more in that like 75, $80 range. So the fact that like Ironhide is like 90 to 95, it's like, but he's the same thing. He's from that same price point, from that same era, from that, he's the Autobot cars. They both came with Diaclone drivers. Is it because maybe a little more extra tooling went into him to make him unique? I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'll be a little more patient and wait, but I still think it looks good. It's unique. Again, as someone who's an old head from the fandom, this was the kind of stuff that if you would have shown this to us, like back in like the 90s, we would have lost our minds. Ryan with the question, Proto, what are the best looks for Beast Wars 2 and Beast Wars Neo? Is there a Generations book? Yes, there is actually. So there is a Generations book. It was done. Actually, let me pull it down for you guys. One moment. I'll show it to you. I think I showed it once on the live stream. One moment. I'll show both, actually. So the most infamous of them, all is the legendary Transformers Generations Guidebook. This is the go-to for everyone. It's Japanese, but it literally has everything from Generation 1, Generation 2, a little bit of the PVCs that were happening when SCF was doing the PVC stuff. There's even some Machine Wars in here because they kind of consider that as Neo G2 in a lot of ways. And then there's just a whole bunch of Studio Ox art that's great and prototype stuff that never got released. Like it's a fantastic book. Absolutely great. Let me show some cool prototype stuff. because they always have cool prototype stuff. Where is that Jinrai prototype? Goto Jinrai. Probably in the Master Force section. Where is it? This is excruciating. Well, here, so show some other. Let's see, like Galaxy Shuttle was going to have an extra piece here. You know, they show the laser cycles. Like everything is in this book. It's pretty great. Pretty great book. So this is for G1, G2, and Machine Wars with a little bit of SCF PVC, and then a whole bunch of bonuses in the back, line art and animation models and all kinds of cool stuff. They did a sequel 15 years later called Beast Generation. Let me just show it side by side. So it even kind of, what's cool is they kind of also parallel each other. They have that similar thing where they have the leaders in the front. So Beast Generations. This one has Beast Wars, Beast Wars Second, Beast Wars Neo, Beast Wars Japan, Beast Wars USA, Animorphs, and car robots, robots in the skies, with a mixture of some, I guess we'll call it Neo Beast Wars stuff. So if there was like certain modern figures that kind of homage modern Beast Wars. So let's use like they show some of the Beast Wars masterpiece stuff, you know, or they'll show like the new Legends stuff or something, or like modern Kingdom items. They'll kind of celebrate those too. But it's a lot of, you know, completion of just everything. So if like let's go to Galvatron that we just talked about, you know, good old Galvatron 2. But it's just it's a great, and I mean look at this double page spread on the prototype Unicron for Neo. You know, that's a great one. Great photos, absolutely great photos of that. Let's go to the man, you know? So this is a great book. They reissued it once, if I remember correctly. Um, a friend told me that the reissue used a different quality of paper. So this is like a high gloss. Supposedly, if you have one that has more of a kind of like a newsprinty kind of paper, but it's not really newsprinty because I know what he's talking about because they reissued this one and it's the same thing. Like this is the original run. I have the reissue too, and it kind of has like a different feel of the paper. So supposedly there's a reissue of it, but it's the same content. Nothing changed on the inside, just the paper quality was a little different. But it is out there. Don't pay crazy money for this. This thing got reissued twice because of demand. Uh, $50 max. Don't pay more than that. If you can get it for 50 or less, it's a great book. You know, how many pages? Over 150 full color pages. And it shows like, you know, design stuff from back in the day, old Beast Wars stuff, old prototypes that didn't happen. Very cool. Even some Aaron Archer art is in here, you know, from his early Beast Wars days, from what do you call it? From Transmetals. So I would get that one. That's a really good one. Really good book. And that was also both of these, by the way, they were done by Hobby Japan back in the day. So check that out, yo. Let's put this here without it falling. So I hope that answers that. Um, Ironhide doesn't have the removable sled, so that could factor in. Yeah, well, I mean, I figured they did a lot of brand new tooling with that Ironhide. So it's something where I guess that's part of the reason why it went you know, went up. But again, it's Ironhide, you know, so it's one of those more interesting characters from the Japanese side of thing because they didn't get the original Ironhide toy technically during the original launch in 1985 of Super Fight Lifeform Transformers. They didn't get Ironhide in that initial wave assortment. When Transformers Victory was out and Zone, like in that 90-91 range, they did Robo Points and you could get an Ironhide, which I think was like excess leftover stock from probably the Star program in the West and the East. So that was like the only way you could get Ironhide. And then, of course, years later, they would reissue Ironhide through the Encore line in Japan, and so they were able to get it then. But there is a weird history with that character as from a '80s perspective, you know. To give an equivalency, it's probably something like, you know, we never got Star Saber, the original, and then we got a reissue for a limited amount of time, and now they're doing like a fancy Star Saber. That's probably the best way to explain it. So, Ryan, cool. I have the G1, G2. We'll look out for that one. Thank you. Yeah, it's called Beast Generations, Transformers Beast Generations with an S, and it was done by Hobby Japan. Hobby Japan is a very, very well-known model kit and action figure magazine in Japan, and they're the publisher for all of those. And they did one for GoBots. There's a great one. Look up Machine Robo Wedge. Machine Robo is one word, Machine Robo, and then Wedge. That's the GoBot version of these books. Same creators, same publishers and everything. Fantastic book. If you love GoBots, it has every facet of GoBot outside of like the modern stuff that they've done, but like all the vintage GoBots, all the Japanese vintage GoBots, the Mugenbein stuff, the machine Robo Go, the CG Robos, like all of that cool stuff too. Was Ratchet the same way? Are we talking about the original toy with the sled? Yeah. Ratchet and Ironhide were exactly the same, except one had a light bar on it. The heads were even the same sticker face. Like the weapons were all the same. The only thing was different was just one had a light bar and one didn't. With the missing link, though, from what I've seen from the photos, which I wish I could post for you guys, it looks like Ratchet has a repair tool or something, as opposed to a drill weapon like what Ironhide has. We got a super chat from Sean McGoningle 296. Sorry if I mispronounced that. With the $5 super chat, do you think they'll do a Toon Deco Sea Spray? He's only season 2 mini bot. I'm missing, but I'm not sure if we could get a Walmart retro reissue version. Well, I mean, in my opinion, what I think that they're going to do is they're going to probably do a Toon Sea Spray at some point. And I've speculated this before, primarily because of how this thing transforms. Because this one is the true toy version. Because if you transform it like this, right? Like you really like put the boat legs out and everything, you could kind of like get like a more toy accurate kind of look with him. And I could see them doing a Studio Series 86 or whatever they're going to want to call it version of him, and he'll probably have like a different weapon or accessory or something, maybe a mermaid girlfriend, who knows. But yeah, I could see them doing it. They're not going to waste this tooling. The one glory with Hasbro is it's very rare that you look at a tooling and you go, oh, it's the one and done. You'll see G2 colors. You'll see they'll do a toy version or an anime version. They'll do, if you want to go deep cut, Mano War, the GoBots, unreleased GoBot colors from Fun Publication when they were like playing with ideas of extended e-hobby GoBot characters. So, uh, no doubt we will see an eventual Studio Series 84 line. Well, I mean, I kind of feel that's kind of what Studio Series 86 has become, because in a lot of ways, Studio Series 86 features characters that didn't really, feature. I mean, look, Studio Series 86 Snarl exists. He's in 2 screenshots when when they're talking to Moonbase 2, you see his head, and then when Cyclonus is shooting at them before they get to the shuttles, he's like, "Ah." And then maybe you see his robot mode when they're landing on the planet of junk. That's kind of a hard one. I'd have to double check. But I mean, you could throw anyone under Studio Series 86 at this point. You can make a Studio Series 86 Huffer and just say, well, he was in the background. He was there for, a split second when, Cup went, what's that darn fool doing? Like, oh, there's Huffer, you know. Look, there's a Studio Series 86 Sunstreaker, you know. So it's the same thing. It's like there he is, there. He's in 2 places at once. He was on the ground and he was on Optimus' shuttle. 2 Sunstreakers. Let's see. What do we got here? We got Ninjatron says he wants a mermaid girlfriend. Yeah. Well, I think we all want to be living the movie Splash, if anyone knows that reference. But yeah, Silas would like to have a mermaid girlfriend. Um, but yeah, it's just, it's it's one of those things where it's like I could totally see them doing it. And actually, it's funny. I never opened this guy, and since reading the manga of Nemesis Star Convoy, now I'm going to finally get around to opening him. I want to do like a nice photo shoot of showing all the different red redecos of this tooling because there was a legend scale, there was a DVD exclusive. I have a prototype of this that I bought many years ago from a individual who worked at Takara who will remain nameless. I have, of course, the American version. I then modified the American version to give it yellow spoiler because I'm a psychopath, and you know why? Because originally I had blue spoilers. So I'm going to do a nice little photo shoot in the near future on the old Instagram. So check that out. TFCon Twins with the super chat for $3 Canadian. So no word on Galvatron coming to Legacy Age of the Primes. Well, I still think it's too early. I'm seeing people going, oh, it's going to be a Japanese only product. It's too complicated. I don't think so. They're not going to put all that time and energy into all that design to not put it in a box and put it somewhere. At worst case scenario, it'll be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, as some kind of like made to order like situation like they did with the his tank. But even then, I doubt that. Even then, I think it'll be a retail product. I really do. They wouldn't just go, "Hey guys, look at this. Oh yeah, Japanese exclusive. Psych piece." Like I honestly think they're gonna do something. T Former says what I meant was Ratchet is the same in Japan with the points. Yes, both of them for whatever it was Ratchet, Ironhide. There was another one too that had a weird release history. Who was the other one? Was it Skids? No, Skids was in a 2-pack. There was another one too, like that didn't get released in Japan, and it was done through the Robo Point system. It was I remember it clearly because if you buy, like let's say Victory Leo from Transformers Victory, not so much Star Saber, but Victory Leo, his instructions has that Robo Point sheet, and you could see like, oh, you could get Ironhide, you could get Ratchet. And I think there was two others. I think it was Megatron was on there also. I think it was Megatron you could also get with Robo Points. I have to dig it up. There was a few others. A few others. I wish I had that close by to show you guys. Not Omega Supreme, Ninjatron. That was still in. So you had a rival Japanese toy company called Toy Box. Hasbro was not. Excuse me, Hasbro. Takara was not going to feature Toy Box stuff. When Toy Box got bought out by Takara, specifically Tomy, because Tomy bought them out, then we started seeing the Omega Supreme reissues through the Encore line, but not back then. There's no way we would have seen Omega Supreme back then. No Omega Supreme, no Skylinks, um, obviously no Shockwave. That's another one too. We wouldn't have gotten Shockwave. All of those would see some kind of release later on. We never got a reissue of Shockwave in Japan. That's why whenever I see a Shockwave that's in like pretty decent shape from the 80s, it's like, get it if you can, because I don't even know if that tooling's kind of weird. It's like, oh, Radio Shack had it too for a period of time. Like, who owns the rights to that? Or even the patents or whatever. Like, who knows? It's a weird one. Good old Galactic Man and Astro Magnum. You know, Roadbuster and Whirl. That's another one. Those you would not see because of their Dorvac origins. Roadbuster Whirl and the third one that never happened. Insecticons, the deluxe Insecticons, which are B-Trass, yeah, we didn't get those in Japan, but the original Insecticons we did get in Japan. Just not the B-Trass ones, which would become the deluxe Insecticons. I'm thinking more like which Autobot Diaclone cars didn't get a Japanese Transformers G1 releases initially. I think it was just Ratchet and Ironhide. I think. I could be wrong. Um, what else? What else? T-Formers, excuse me, T-Formers. TFCon Twins with the release of Blaster coming, the Dark Design Rhinox getting a release, and we're on the verge of getting a new Beast Wars MPG. Waspinator Inferno are begging to become. Well, I think, in my opinion, I think that the next one is going to be Waspinator. If there's going to be another Beast Wars one, it's either going to be Waspinator or they're going to right away jump to Transmetal Convoy, aka Optimus Primal. But I think it's going to be Waspinator. I think I don't see them. I don't know why. Like as much as I'd like them to do Air Razor, I just don't see them doing Air Razor yet. Like it's a weird one. That character was released as a boy over there, because they were worried about the low sales of it being a girl. Like, I don't know if they would do Air Razor. That's a weird one. But I could see them doing like Waspinator, much more of a better known character. I mean, the fact that when they did the Beast Wars Again repaint line of the Kingdom molds in Japan, they did Waspinator and then they did the Decepticon Starscream Waspinator. So the fact that they have the confidence to do that tooling twice of the deluxe Kingdom one, I could see them doing the same thing with the masterpiece. So I could see him being next. And then after that, again, I feel like they're going to jump to Transmetals just because there's more weight there. Primal, Megatron, Cheetor, Tarantulas. Like I could see them doing a Tarantulas before they do the original Tarantulas. Black Arachnia, Transmetal 2. Transarts' Black Arachnia is amazing. So whatever Takara would do would probably be amazing too. You know, wasn't Red Alert not out until the Goodbye Convoy 2-pack? Yeah, you'd probably be right. Red Alert was in the Goodbye Convoy 2-pack. There's also the Goodbye Megatron, but that's where Skids came from, if I remember correctly. It was Starscream, Megatron, and Skids. And then there was Sunstreaker, but they had a buildable PVC figure. But what came with that one? I'm trying to remember. There was like a weird PVC 2-pack with that one too. But it was available. It still came out during that 1985 run of when the show was on TV. We got it in 84, they got it in 85. They were playing catch up in a sense where they just made season 1 and 2 kind of one entity and made a all-in-one toy line of most of what they could use. When is Skylinks' trademark up again? Well, uh, actually very soon. He was a late 2021 item. Excuse me, a late 2020 item because he was a commander class in Earthrise. So I'd have to say very soon. In theory, if it's either expiring soon or has expired already, and then Hasbro obviously has refreshed it, so they have to do something within the next 4 years. So I mean, in theory, they could do something in 2027. Now they won't do that. They very rarely wait until the last year to put out a product just because God forbid something happens and that product can't come out. So they'll usually the second year or the third year of its refresh of trademark will they do something. But I could see them, look, Skylinks is, one of those where there's a mini con named Skylinks. There's a Transformers Prime character that's named Skylinks of the Beast Hunters. There's the original character. So you got like 3 right there that you could play with, that you could throw it to something if you need to like buy yourself some time. Yeah, Prime Skylinks, like Rodimus said. Yeah. James, don't forget, he had a reissue a couple of years ago. Well, again, that's the other thing too. Sometimes what Hasbro does is, and keep in mind, it has to be a reissue that's done in the West. If it's a reissue that happens in Japan or China, doesn't count. There's no patent trademarks and all of that stuff in those countries. It's a very different animal. It has to be a Western released product. Not even Europe. Europe doesn't count. Europe just gets like the scraps pretty much anyways, but that's what they usually do. Fortress Maximus is the best example of that. Oh, Fort Max's trademark's expiring. Reissue that sucker. Throw that figure back in the box, put it on the website, and we got another 4 years. You know? Keep doing that. That's what they keep doing over and over. So there's a few methods there, but I mean the commander class was pretty great. If there's still demand for it, they'd literally have to like look at the market and go, is there still demand? Because for them to commission their factories that they don't own, they have to get a slot. They have to call the factory and go, hey, do you have an opening so we could do this product? Obviously, we're going to pay you and then we're going to get that product. And it's something where we have that opening? Is it worth it to make that opening? Is it worth it to train the factory employees to learn how to assemble this product? There's a whole process to when it comes to manufacturing these characters. So I know that I think it was John Warden talked about this. This was years ago when John was like the head honcho. And he talked about how a lot of times whenever they would consider like doing a repack, like, oh, let's take on a mold that, or a character and like, let's use it as a filler for a future wave, like a year later, sometimes they'd be like, are the factory workers still familiar with what they worked on, 8 months prior? Sometimes those decisions. That's why a lot of times you'll have like, oh, a wave 1 item becomes a filler in wave 4 because the factory workers are still familiar with the assembly. And when you're not familiar with it, you get assembly issues, you get factory mistakes, you get all kinds of stuff. The deep cuts, like I always say. TFCon Twins, would Takara finish the full cast of Beast Wars Season 1 before Transmetals? I mean, look, I would like to say yes, but the problem is Japan is so funky when it comes to bad guy characters. They are so funky when it comes to that. Like they are so like if you looked at your masterpiece display, like I'm looking at my masterpiece display, and it's like if it wasn't for Seeker Jets, it would be Optimus, Megatron, Soundwave, Shockwave, and everyone else is a redeco. Oh, you want a Decepticon exhaust from a good guy character in that of Wheeljack. Seeker Jets kind of fill it out. Obviously I tape cassettes for Soundwave. Like it's something where, but then you look at unique toolings and everything with Autobots, and it's way more. It's just the safer bet. If they do a bad guy, it's got to be like either a top tier character or a low investment of a redeco. Like, oh, we'll make an evil version of Trax and it's going to be Loud Pedal, like we're going to make an evil version of a Rodimus mold. Like they're weird when it comes to bad guys. And I mean, it's always been a known fact that in general, bad guy toys don't sell as well in Japan unless it's Gundam. It's kind of like, G.I. Joe or Star Wars, where it's like people love Cobra or they love the Empire just as much as the good guys. And it's kind of the same thing. The Zeon, which are the bad guys in like, let's say 0079 original Gundam, are just as popular, if not more popular. But that's the exception to the rule. You look at any late G1 Transformers in Japan, they're trying to reduce the amount of bad guys to non-existentness, like to the point that there's almost no bad guys, no bad guy molds. Look at car robots as a modern example in the 2000s era. Car robots, you had the good guys, which is Robots in Disguise here in America. The good guys had all this new tooling, all this new stuff. Yeah, a few flip changer, Indie Heat and Wrecker Hook, which would be Skidsy and Tow Line. But, most of them were all brand new tooling. They really built out, look at the Build King, and then we had JRX, like all these big combiners. Then you look at the bad guys, and they put all their energy into Gigatron, aka Megatron Galvatron, and then everyone else was old tooling. Everyone else. Like they put no effort into the bad guys. And that's because bad guys don't sell. They just don't sell at all, you know? Oh, look at the Brave stuff. Brave would have one evil black repaint if you're lucky a wave. Yeah, okay, like the first like X Kaiser had they made a Dino Geist, bad dude, but every other line, Gal Geiger, whatever, if there were bad guy toys, it was an evil black repaint of somebody. That was about it, you know? It wasn't ever like, oh, we're gonna make an effort and make Zonders from like Gal Geiger, to give an example of the bad guys in that, you know? Like there was no Zonder toys, of the bad guys, which is kind of a shame because they had cool designs. But Zone, Transformers Zone had Metro Titan, and then they took a couple of Micromasters and made them bad, like one 4-pack, and that was it for Zone. You know, there was no other bad guys. When you look at Operation Combination, Battle Stars, yeah, little Micromaster here, and that's it. Oh, maybe a combiner team here. Again, and it was all low effort. Operation Combination. Who's the bad guys? Oh, I don't know. Let's just take this Bruticus mold from like 4 years ago. Call it Battle Gaia. We're done. You know. Yes, Black Arachnia is the exception, especially with Masterpiece, for obvious reasons of how the Japanese market is. Look, Kissplay. Like people always go like, "Oh, what's Kissplay? Why did it happen?" During Armada, during Micron Legend in Japan, they were looking at who buys our products. And they knew when they were going into Energon, specifically Superlink, you could say what you want about Energon, you could say what you want about Superlink, but if you watch the Japanese version of it, it was very clear that they were going for a little bit of an older demographic for Transformers with Superlink. They were going for that more teenager demographic than kids and stuff. And they were like, okay, who is buying Transformers and what else are they buying? And they saw they buy Transformer toys and they buy big titty anime girl action figures. That was a very popular thing in the early 2000s. Like, I wish I could show you guys Gyro Zetter, but there's good old, Kumiko from Gyro Zetter and stuff. Like, big titty girl action figures. And that's part of a giant robot line, you know? um, Takara, at the exact same time when they were developing uh, Kiss Play, were also going, okay, so we're going to have anime girly figures for Transformers with Kiss Play. And then they invented a line called, I think it's called the SR line, SRSRR, which was like all our Zoids females in sexy bikini action figures. All our, what was it? Specific characters from Beyblade and stuff. We're going to give them sexy anime figures and everything. Like they were targeting, like, let's take our brand and also make something similar. So that's what Kiss Play was, you know? You could say, "Ooh, it's creepy. Oh, it's weird," but it was them doing marketing in the Japanese market. And hey, Kiss Play sold. People bought it. They made DVDs and books and audio cassettes and all kinds of stuff. Two manga compilations. One that was a Wonder Festival exclusive. One that was a public purchasable one. I have both of them. They're kind of cool. I'll be honest with you because of the lore that it gives. But they've always done that kind of stuff. The Japanese market is very particular. And that's why they have, like, going back to stuff like this, they have very unique products for their market that are sometimes a little more risque for our market. To put a product like this on the shelves and ask like $25, woof, I don't know. We could barely move, these guys at $9.99, $10. You put an accessory with one of these guys, and now he's what's it called there? Armored cyber changer. Like you give an accessory to one of these guys, now he's an armored cyber changer, and they're asking $14.99. You can ask 20 for this. It's a tough market in a tough economy. You know, tough economy. So to me, I feel that because their market is so different, they're able to create products like that And us as outsiders, sometimes it's hard for us to understand or make sense of it. But I mean, if you go back like to the 80s, like anyone knows what Gundam girls are, which was like something that was spawned out of the Otaku era and Wonder Festival. And I mean, the whole history of Wonder Festival with Gainax and everything before they sold it to General Products. That literally was the name of a company in Japan, General Products. But General Products were like one of the like co-founders of Wonder Festival before they sold it to Kotobukiya. Was it Kotobukiya or Kaido? One of the ones that starts with a K is now the current owner of Wonder Festival. But like you go through that history, and it's like, oh, when Gundam was huge, they did the Gundam Girls line. Let's take a GM Gundam, and put it in a sexy girl. Let's take the Goof and put it in a sexy girl, or a Zaku, or whatever. You know, it's just part of their history. And it sells well. And if you have a problem with it, don't buy it, but it's going to keep selling because sexy girls will always sell until the end of time. It's just how it is. It's just how it is, yo. You know? God, I love Wild King. You know? And it's funny because if you're in Japan right now, Lawson's, for any of my Japanese viewers, Japan Lawson's has all of the first wave stuff on sale. 900 yen. So you could pick up Energy Beast for 900 yen, which is about $6 American. So if you go to a Lawson's in Japan right now, go pick yourself up some good old Wild King items. Love them. Love them. Absolutely love them. But yeah, I always tell people if they ever have the time to go watch, there's an anime called Otaku no Video. It's a mockumentary. It's half real, half true story, half like mockumentary, and it talks about the early 80s history of Japan's otaku culture and the growth of like gunpla and model kits and garage kits and stuff like that. It's very interesting. It was done by the guys from Gynex who would do Evangelion and everything. And it's a really good watch. Really, really good watch. And then afterwards, you learn about like, even the darker history of otaku culture and the otaku murderer, which that's pretty dark, which I don't suggest you watch if you're a sensitive individual, but piece of history in Japan where there was, you know, the concept of being a nerd like in our culture, if you were a nerd, oh, you're a nerd. You collect toys, you're a nerd. You don't have sex, you don't meet girlfriends, you're in a basement, you're a loser. In Japanese culture, if you were an otaku, aka the localization of a nerd, let's say, although the translation of otaku is pretty complex, the O in otaku means me, and the toku also kind of means me. It's like a way to refer to yourself, but it ended up getting co-opted and being used as a negative connotation, which then was translated and spurred off into now what is a nerd in Japanese culture. Oh, you're a car otaku. You're obsessed on an obsessive level with cars. But there was a point in the 80s because there was this guy. I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to get demonetized, but he was ending, little children, and he got called the otaku murderer because when they captured him and they raided his house, he had just nothing but anime and action figures and VHS tapes of anime. And so it got this huge negative connotation where like, oh, otakus are psychos or weirdos or you stay away from them. And stuff like Otaku no Video came out from Gynex to kind of go, no, we're normal people. We're people that have nostalgia for our childhood. We're creative people. They tried to show that, like, oh, people who are like obsessed with like, model kits and stuff, they're not obsessed with like weapons and guns and, because, obviously the model kits will have little guns with them and stuff. And it's really good. Really, really good. Really, really good. Now, don't watch someone's review of it. Watch the actual material. don't guys, don't be lazy like that. I'm going to watch someone else's opinion of it. Watch it, digest it. If you want to watch the review afterwards, if you didn't understand what you watched and someone could help you digest it better, but watch it for legitimately. I think Otaku no Video is available for free on YouTube. I think there's a subtitled version on YouTube actually, if I recall correctly. So go watch it. It's really good. It's really good, especially if you like Japanese culture. You know, be the Otaking. Otaking. T-Formers 2002. We were talking Ava earlier. So many Asuka statues. Oh, of course. Of course. You know? Evangelion didn't exist to sell model kits of robots. It existed to sell thousands of items of model kit statues. One of my favorite, I wish I could show you guys, but one of my favorite super robot anime is Godnar. And it's Titty City, you know, but it has great designs too, and it has, you know, it's such a classic super robot kind of thing. Talking about video streaming on various sites. I think no, but I think it's someone uploaded it to YouTube, so like you could just catch it there. After you're done with me, go watch that. That's your homework for tonight. Yeah, it's there, and it's a subtitled version too. That's in like HD quality. So go enjoy it. Go enjoy it. In a little bit of history, and then there's good documentaries of people then I guess talking about it afterwards if you don't understand. You know, who's that guy wearing the helmet? Well, that's Charles Namble. Charles Namble was as huge as Darth Vader in Japan. You know, and there's a guy who's cosplaying him. You know, Gravion is another one, but Gravion is good old Obari-san, who's a legend. I love Obari. I love Obari. Every time I could talk about Obari, I'll talk about him. He's good stuff. But yeah, we are, oh my God, we're 13 minutes away from being done tonight. And I thought we started late. Damn, already running out of time. Already running out of time. Went to Walmart today. Didn't find anything. Kind of disappointing. The only new stuff that they had was they had the first wave of Hot Wheels. They didn't have any of the crossover football stuff. They didn't have. They're falling behind because I want to pick me up. I want to pick me up the rest of my original 13, and nobody's there unfortunately. Little Nemo in Slumberland. That's another really good one. That's another really good one. Otaku Video 1991 full OVA is the tag for the one on the YouTube showing. Yeah, and it's subtitled, guys, so you got to read. I apologize, but it's a really good close. It's kind of like a lot of the characters that are featured in it are based off of real people from Gainax. And again, if you then go watch people's reviews, I'm pretty sure they'll fill in the blanks like this guy was supposed to be Ano, this guy was supposed to be so and so, you know. But a really good watch. Really good watch. I always suggest that one to people. If you're going to like the next level of understanding, like history of geek culture and stuff, you know, that's a good one. But going back to Walmart, I'm still waiting for them to put the retro stuff for sale. Like they just have like full pegs of Outback and Wheelie. And here in Canada, I think they're $39.99 Canadian. And I'm just going like, oh God, when is this going to go on sale already? So I can get me a cheap Outback. I love Outback, but I ain't paying $39.99 plus Quebec taxes, 13 to 15% taxes. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait, or I'll wait to buy it for like $25 tax in at a convention that might be coming up soon. So, like, it's crazy. Ryan, I'm a Hot Wheels guy. Love those molds. Don't love the price in Canadian. Yeah, look, I think those guys look great too, but I'm gonna wait until the red version comes out. They'll probably like sell it through like because if it's gonna be a Target exclusive, it'll probably show up in like GameStop here, and I'll buy it through GameStop. My friend has their like Edge card, which gives like 15% off or whatever, and I'll just use that. Yeah, and I'll get my Hot Rod Kiss Play homage Hot Wheels Twin Mill 2. TFCon Twins, Proto. You don't attempt EB Games for new figures. Yeah, I was just saying, like EB Games, GameStop. I have a friend who gets the discounts there. So once in a while, but again, even with the discounts, get rid of, taxes. But I'm still not a fan of the prices. You have to understand, guys, like this collection that you see behind me here did not happen from buying MSRP. I am a very stubborn and patient individual when it comes for waiting for a deal. And I have been in this hobby so long, and it's just, oh, here's all of Energon. And then you go to BotCon like 9 months later, and then all of these figures in Energon are loose complete on people's tables for a fraction of the price. And if you really do the math in your head, if you just kind of wait, you can get them all for a fraction of the price. And yes, there might be that one figure that gets away that ends up like 3xing in value, like an Ultra Magnus, for one example. But for all that you save, the one that 3x's, you still saved money, even if you bought that one in the secondary market for its scalped price, because it's crazy. It's crazy. Look, the TFCon charity auction. I do the TFCon charity auction every year, and I always see what people are just, this guy, this guy here. That's why I'm keeping him close by. This guy is going to be donated so hard at the TFCon charity auction. Giggity. I'm telling you. And then people are going to be giving this thing away. Then it's going to be like, all right, Cyclonus, Kingdom, Voyager class, we'll start the bidding at $5. Do we have $5? $5. Anyone, $5. And someone wins for $5. And it's going to be like, or what was this in Canadian? What was this, like $47.99? And someone's going to get it for $5 Canadian at the charity auction. Mark my words. Mark my words, because I've seen it way too often. I've seen it way too often. Oh, here comes Combiner Superion. And next thing you know, all the Combiner Wars Superions are being donated. Like we had like 3 full sets, like I think, what was it, like 2 years ago or 1 year ago? We had like 3 full sets of it donated because they knew that they were making the legacy one. Yeah, look, Energon Beachcomber. What's the other one? Quick Strike. Yeah, there's some that go for pretty crazy money. But for like the Energon Beachcombers, the Quick Strikes, and let's say Wing Saber falls into that too, the rest of them, tell me the crazy prices that people are asking for Energon Superion or any of those combiners. Nobody cares. There was times where people were getting like the Devastator one for like $10 for the complete thing because nobody cared, because that wasn't their new delicious, combiner anymore. The moment Combiner Wars came out, all of those Energon combiners had no value. And then people were just like, eh. And that happens way too often. Way too often. Just a little patience. Like I was just looking at this recently. So I want to show you guys. I'm thinking of bringing this to TFCon to just sell. A friend of mine had this in his collection. Look how dusty it is. Look at this. He had it in his collection. And he's like, dude, what do you want for this? What did he buy this for? Oh my goodness. This is from EB Games, $22, you know? And I was like, dude, I'll give you $5 for it. And I bought it from him for $5. $22. No one wants this anymore. All the other Junkions that we've gotten now have increased in value from Studio Series 86. No one wants this deluxe Combiner Wars Limb kind of Junkion, you know? That's the reality. There's expiration dates on certain toys and characters that they just don't have a value anymore. Like Titan's Return, Power of the Primes, Combiner Wars, Brawn. Who wants that one now when we have a Studio Series 86? Let alone if down the line we get a masterpiece. Like people are going to want the original vintage, and they're going to want the best representation of them. And everything that falls in between Generations, Legend, Scale, Braun, and all those others, no one's going to care. T-Formers 2002 going to be selling a lunch with cringe tomorrow to prepare for new. Oh, going to be having a lunch, I guess you mean. But yeah, James, my Combiner Wars Rekgar is in a box in the closet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Titans Return Sea Spray. There's a lot of those. And Titans Return Sea Spray. Oh, it's cool. It has Alana's name written on Cybertronian on his wrist. Nice touch. Good job on whoever worked on that. But that's a reality. So that's the thing, is that if you have patience with a lot of these, a lot of them fall into that category because people just kind of go, I don't need this anymore. And you get them on sale. I'm very picky with that. And I save a lot of money. A masterpiece, I don't hesitate. That's why I was saying with the Rhinox before. Yeah, $220. But that's going to be like the best Rhinox ever made. There is nothing that's going to come around that's going to top that. You could do a million retail versions of Rhinox, and it's still not going to be as good as that masterpiece. So those I don't hesitate, because when those start to become difficult to get in the secondary market, it's been a couple years, they've been retired. There's not many of them. Most of them are in private collections. That 220 becomes 230, 300, 350. And then you regret not buying it for MSRP $220 back in 2023. I'm telling you, because I saw that with certain masterpieces. I was seeing like Grimlock at one point was going for like $500. The MP10 was going for like $500. So get them while you can, my friends. Even Optimus Primal. There was one point the Beast Wars Optimus Primal masterpiece was going for like $300. I think it's been softened since then because they did a reissue, but go for the Apex. Get those Apex figures. The retail ones, you could wait. You could wait. You could wait. Dramatic Capture Astro Train is now $200. Woo! I can only imagine why, because of the ever glowing reception of the new one. Which I've seen people fighting tooth and nail arguing over that thing. I just stay out of it. I love Astro Train. He's my favorite of the triple changers. I just stay out of it. I'll own both. How about that? And I'll be happy. Yeah, certain masterpiece. Yeah, but here's the thing. James, you're talking a masterpiece that came out in a retail clearance in the West. Those are always subject to going on clearance. I'm talking Japanese. Japanese, like if Rhinox had a Western release, I'd be with you there, because sooner or later, like Target's going to want to get rid of a high-end item. But when you're talking Japanese only, gets a little risky. Gets a little risky. But either way, we are at the 2-hour mark. Once again, thank you for listening to the Transformer Slag podcast, joining me on the live stream tonight, asking a bunch of good super chats. Thank you for the super chats today that we got. We got from, who do we get from today? We got from TFCon Twins, and then we got one from the individual who I couldn't pronounce his name. But yeah, thank you again for all the love and support, guys. And of course, everyone else who did the others. Oh, what am I having for dinner tonight? So the wife had a craving to make dumplings by hand. So she like bought a whole bunch of like the dumpling wraps, and then she made a whole bunch of bulgogi dumplings in this case. And what she does is she wraps them by hand, and she makes like, I don't know, 30 of them, little ones by hand. And then what she'll do is she'll use high virgin olive oil. She'll put it in a low heat, and then she'll cook them in those. And she'll cook it in low heat olive oil with bulgogi meat. And it tastes amazing. I'm just drooling even thinking about it. So we have that. We bought little sesame oil dipping sauce to have with it. We bought some bok choy to have on the side just so we could have some kind of green with it too that we scrub down like crazy. And that's that. And then maybe tomorrow we're thinking, because now the weather's getting good, the summer season is here. We're thinking of maybe like taking a small little day trip off the island and just kind of like hunting around, you know, going far away from Montreal, far away from the yuppies of Montreal and the beautiful city of Montreal, and going to like the middle of nowhere, Quebec, and maybe doing some toy hunting. And then while we're out there, the reason why I bring this up food wise, going to a greasy spoon, Quebecoise, poutine, French fry, hamburger, hot dog, go to one of those we call them a Belle Province. They're like a chain, but they're all over. Finding one of those and probably having that. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how we feel in the morning because we have to wake up early to do that. We'll wake up early, cross the bridge off the island, have some good stuff. That's the goal. But we'll see. We will see. We will see how we feel tomorrow. Because also in Canada, we have a holiday this Monday. It's Victoria Day or Memorial Day. It's different depending on which province you're in. But we have Monday off, so we have a long weekend. So that's why we're figured, we'll go off the island on Sunday, do some fun stuff, and then Monday will be we call it the chill day. Do groceries, do laundry, get all that end of week stuff done. So that's how I see it. That's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be chillaxing like we always do. And then we'll be back to business on the podcast on Monday. I'll put out a segment because we still have stuff we have to talk about. And it's still Mega May. So we have Mega Man comics that we have to talk about. We got new books that are coming out. We got comic stuff that's coming out. There's new Transformer stuff also. And then June is going to be quiet, possibly a Japan trip. And then July is TFCon, San Diego Comic-Con, Otaku-thon. I know I'm forgetting something. Some other shows, but a lot of good stuff. So stay tuned for all of that. And again, thank you for all the love and support. If you want to continue supporting the podcast, we got the Patreon link down there. Come join us on the Patreon. We're always posting unique lore stuff. Anything that's like region locked, like with YouTube, with Wild King, don't worry, we got you covered with that. We have a whole bunch of people with Japanese stuff that'll make sure we're able to give you guys access to the region locked stuff. All the past Wild King episodes that you couldn't get, they're available through our sources on our Discord, which is through our Patreon. So we do that so you guys get access to it and all the other stuff, sales, everything. And we have such a great community there. Like I'm very obsessed with making sure we have a good positive vibe community on the Discord so that people could get access to cheaper Transformers, sell to each other so we could keep stuff cheap. And of course the deals, the lore, the access to all that stuff and more and more and more. But thanks for all the love and support, guys. We're at the 2-hour mark. It's Saturday night. I'm going to go chill with the lovely wife. Now I'm hungry because we're talking about the dumplings. So I'm going to probably go have some. I'm going to reheat them. And yeah. Well, it's region locked for people, except for if you're part of the Transformer Slag podcast Discord. Then it's not region locked. And with Wild King W being a reality, right now you could watch the teaser trailer for Wild King W on the Transformer Slag podcast Discord. So check it out, yo. And I'm out of here. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, your loved ones. Take care of the people around you, your neighbors, all the great people around you, your family. It's a great world out there with a lot of cool stuff. Ignore the negativity, ignore the stupidity. The Montreal Canadiens are doing very well and potentially might win the Stanley Cup. So there's a lot of cool sports you could watch with your friends or wrestling or anything like that. Just relax, enjoy life, chill. You only get one shot at this, unless you're Buddhist, then you believe in reincarnation. But otherwise, you only get one shot at this. So make the best of it and don't surround yourself with some of the most negative individuals that are always looking for trouble. Enjoy life And as always, take care of yourself. I'm out of here. Peace and roll out.